This show is rated M for mature, so parents, put your kids to bed.
Welcome to the hangout. Let's gather around those non-filtered discussions, tackling the topic, shedding light on all sides. Everyone has a story. Getting trends, ideas, and deciphering the political chaos society shaping. So many ways, but we're on the side of the honest truth, exploring perspectives. Time to take off the blinders. The hangout, come join the conversation. The hangout for truth.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to The Hangout. We are the podcast directly affected by the squirrel syndrome. Squirrel!
Look at that fluffy unicorn!
Meaning we're all over the place, from creator talks to the occasional political debate, and even sometimes some spicy conversation that will leave you drooling. But tonight's episode, you'll have to go back to the days of good old George Carlin and Howard Stern. For those of you that don't know and are too young to know who that is, Google it. But you have to go back to get a feel of why this man has been criticized, even to the point of being called the Boogeyman of Kick. For those of you who don't know what Kick is a live streaming platform, sort of like Twitch and all the multitude of others. But Kick has its issues. Growing pains, you can say. Because it's only just a little over a year old, and trust me, it is heading for the terrible twos of mass proportion if it does not get under control. Now, our guest tonight is a person who likes to call people out on their bullshit, shine a light on the wrongs that need to be corrected. He is formed from society just like his persona. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, the Joker.
Yo.
All right, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Ah, we figured it out.
Fantastic.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What a way to start the first episode back.
Oh no, it's all good, man. It's all good. Hey, we're here. We're doing it.
It's a conspiracy. They're just not. They don't want us to talk.
No, you know what? That's exactly what happened. It's the powers. It's the powers that be.
That I do. That I can believe because, like I said, every time I get a guest on that it's a little controversial, it's like something always happens.
Oh, dude, I'm total. Yeah. If you're looking a little controversial, I'm surprised your whole stream didn't go down.
Well, it's kind of funny because my Twitter logged out earlier, and I'm like, it's never logged out.
Oh,
So it's
man.
like, and then it says I had to re-authenticate and all this other stuff. It's like, what is going on? Is it? Because I didn't do anything normal than what I normally do. It's like, so. But anyways, I'm used to the tech gremlin. So, so anyways, back to what I was saying. We are back here on Kick for the very first time for the podcast. I've been around for a few years doing podcasts, talking with creators and stuff like that. I'm kind of changing things up, getting more in-depth conversations. And so that's why tonight I asked the Joker. I really, in a way I can connect with him because I'm kind of the same way. It's just, I can't get my thoughts out like he does. So it really impressed me, like watching a lot of his content and everything else, and getting to, going through his VODs and rewatching everything. And of course, like we talked on Twitter not too long ago, it's like, you've been called everything in the book when it comes to not very good, but dude, it's just like, I always sit there and say, if people have you, I said that if people are sitting there hating on you, that means you're in their headspace.
Oh man, you have no idea. So can I swear on your podcast?
You can swear, dude.
Cool, man, because I these fucking degenerates out there, bro. Dude, it's crazy how, man, the streaming space has been evolving, right? It went from people like really loving streamers and everybody's like, oh man, being a live streamer is so cool, to like now if you're a live streamer with a difference of an opinion, or you're like saying something that is like remotely controversial, everybody and their mother's attacking you.
Yep.
Everybody, and it's like a vicious attack. And it's funny because like my entire life, I always tell my wife this, dude, I trained for this my entire life. Like, I've always been the black sheep. I've always been the guy that like would say the thing that just like makes people wonder and like get questioned. You know what I mean? And then what happens is people, they alienate you because of that. Because you're not in their same like zen, in their same wavelength. You're the guy that throws the curveball and makes them think. And that's what I want to do. I've set myself out here to be that person, to put the target on my back. And then when people showed like even more hate towards it, I amplified it on purpose. Just so this way they can like say it louder. I mean, I've literally been fucking named the Kick Boogeyman.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I'm surprised nobody's in your DMs. Like, why the fuck are you on stream with this guy? You know what I mean?
I'm sure I'll probably get some later on, but it's just like, you know what? Just like I said, I mean, it's when you talk about things that hit nerves on people, like you do, and you're not the first. I mean, look, if you go back in history, I mean, satire and bringing out the BS has like been around forever. I mean, you look at like from my day, back in my day, George Carlin, the comedian George Carlin.
George Carlin's a freaking legend, man. Rest in power to that guy. Wow.
If he was still doing his comedic skits today,
oh, he'd be fucked.
Oh yeah.
They would have assassinated his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's true. But that's the thing, right? And that's actually what I model after. I model after like a George Carlin. I model after a Howard Stern and like a Joe Rogan. That's kind of like how I do my stuff. And the thing is, like, there are jokes, right? Like I joke about a lot of things, hence the name The Joker, right? But I call that seriously joking. Right. So like as people chuckle and they laugh, they're like, wait a minute, there's a fucking undertone to this that's making a lot of sense, and that's how you reach people. In my real life, how do I say your name? What do I call you?
Oh, Rebel.
Just Rebel. Okay.
Yeah.
So Rebel, in my real life, I'm a psychologist. How do I? Okay, that's what I am. I'm out here. I understand the human brain. I understand human emotions. I understand how to reach people, like in their like super ego, their ego, in their subconscious. Like I know how to get in that, and I have done a lot of things in my content in a very constructive way to tap into people's like subconscious. And I'm bringing out, not only do I bring out like their like true personalities, like I demask them, but I also like inject like through their emotions of anger, a very, very real truth, positive message that is going to make them think about the uncomfortable shit going on in this world. That's why people don't like me, because I make them feel uncomfortable about reality. Because the truth, and I always say this, the truth is the truth. And if we don't understand the truth, then we're not doing humanity itself a service. So if I can help train people how to fucking think and look for those things that are odd things out that just don't make sense and that need problem solving, then I'm going to employ people to fucking problem solve. And that's everything.
See, I knew there was a connection here because, see, I have a bachelor's in psychology myself. I don't practice it, but, I went through, 4 years of, the psychology thing to get my bachelor's in it. Mine's more geared around like the law enforcement side and things like that. But no, I mean, I totally understand. Yeah, you trigger somebody. If you tell somebody the truth, they don't want to hear it. It just makes them really, really triggered.
Well, you have to marry it with other things, right? So a little bit of my background. So I am a practicing psychologist, but I'm an experimental psychologist. I specialize in human behavior. That's my specialty.
Sweet.
So literally this, you know what I mean? Literally, figuring out all of the human behaviors around certain things and encouraging certain behaviors and finding ways to discourage other behaviors, right? and that's all through social media and so on and so forth. But yeah, like if you like take the mentality of like what a human being is, and then you look at like a streamer and what a streamer is, you can tell who is a streamer, who is just regular, who is law enforcement, who is military, who is firefighter. Like everybody has like a specific persona because the training and the lifestyle that they live in is literally like you can tell. That's why when people are like, "Yo, I kind of feel like you're like a cop or something." You know what I mean? You ever get that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we all have that. And
Yep.
by the way, I'm ex-military as well. Like I was a military police officer back in my previous life.
Well, thank you for your
So,
service.
cool, man. I'm glad I did it. I served my country, and I'm still serving my country till this day. So, and that's in my capacity as a psychologist. So, I have that kind of like demeanor that like I can, you know what I mean? Like I understand what the letter of the law is. I know that I'm doing a lot of good things to help, America grow and humanity grow. So that's everything to me, bro. But back to my point about human behavior, like every type of person is predictable. There's behavioral traits with every single kind of person. And then there's ways to reach every single kind of person. And there's ways to enhance certain behaviors within every kind of person. Like it gets very like granular to that level. So, again, like my intentions, and I've always told this to everybody, on Kick, my intentions are pure. My intentions are not cynical. I'm not here to hurt nobody. I'm not here to, to make people do stupid shit to harm themselves. What I'm here to do is I'm here to put real fucking problems in front of these streamers who are influencing our youth. So this way they can say, that's not what I want to do. And hopefully the behavior that I reinforce through my ways, through my methods of reinforcement, stick to those streamers so they can do the good behaviors to influence our youth and to do better.
Oh, most definitely.
Moreover, until I was a drama alert kind of channel, there was no accountability on this fucking platform. None. Zero. The staff and the people that are phase partners and shit like that, they had no one holding them accountable. The staff were just like being reinforced by verbal affirmation by these phase partners, getting pats on the shoulders and stuff, and the staff were buckling. As a matter of fact, they're still kind of buckling to like being told good job and good old boy and all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, until I came along. And then when I came along and my team, we started like highlighting the cynical shit that a lot of these fucking phase partners were doing, to the point of them like trying to get me shadow banned. They're like screaming, kicking and screaming, "Oh my God, you hear he's talking about me. He's talking about my situation." And all I was saying to them was, "Hey, don't do shit that's fucking newsworthy, and maybe you won't be spoken about."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree.
So at that point in time, as I was holding people accountable, now people are thinking twice for doing that bullshit. Since I've held people accountable, I've gotten one staff member fired for contributing and applauding some fucking weirdo that was doing pedophilia shit named Riot Lol on the platform. I was the one that freaking brought attention to that once I saw the YouTube video that came out. And then from my tweet, everybody freaking blew up about it, and then that guy got banned off the platform and the staff member got fired. I'm the reason why a lot of the new terms of service or the community guidelines were being put in place for many reasons. Dude, I am a very big influence on both the influencers, the Kick partners, the incentive partners or whatever, and the staff and the higher ups in Australia with Eddie. I am that guy that has caused so much change on this platform from Kick's inception. If anything, from the community standpoint, myself, Sponge, and my current team are directly responsible for what you see here today.
No, and it was definitely needed because, like I said, that was my biggest hang up when I first, jumped onto this platform or it was a big thing. It's just like, and it was a lot of creators, a lot of creators refused to come over here before the fact because of, like they keep calling it, the wild, wild west. I mean, it was like a free range. Anybody could do what they wanted to do, and just, there was no consequences.
Well, it kind of still is in a way. But again, it's creators like myself, that, again, that were putting accountability to truly evil behaviors. So, I became a very loud voice on Twitter, and not only on Twitter, but on on other like mediums as well. And many people, even till this day, they call me again the Boogeyman. They're like, why is it that you're supporting Joker? Why are you on a live stream with Joker? Why are you fucking, why are you anywhere near this guy? You're gonna hear a lot of that. A lot of people that are on my panels are like always telling me like, dude, like I thought you were the worst person in the world, and then I got to talk to you, and now it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Well, this guy is a normal dude. Like, why the fuck are people calling you this? And
Yeah.
and really, it's all by design. It's because the wicked, they're the ones that were the voices, that were kind of my peers, still my peers, that are opposed to me, and there's a bunch of them, and there's one, two of me, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
I mean, if you look at Twitter, look at, Keemstar, the one that has, the big drama, breaking news on Twitter and everything else that, I applaud those kind of people because, like he said, it's needed because it needs to draw out all the BS that are on these platforms and try to make it fair for everybody else that's trying to do it the right way.
absolutely. Absolutely. And look, drama alert, as people might be like, oh, it's stupid because it's drama. I mean, sure, if you see it as senseless drama, then fine. Like, you can see it however you want. But
Yeah.
again, if you highlight when people do really outlandish things, and you point to it and say, hey, that's what we don't want, right? We want to have the ability to point at something and say that's the wrong way.
Yep.
Right? Because if we don't have the ability to point at it and say that's the wrong way, then what happens is, people get away with shit. People are going to go out there and do really harmful shit to people. Because look, from my experience with group dynamics, okay, I'm going to give you, I'm going to maybe put you guys to sleep a little bit here, but
No.
group dynamics, if a leader of a group goes unchecked, then the group falls into something called groupthink. Okay? Groupthink occurs when a leader of a group is doing a lot of things and he has a bunch of fucking yes men around him, and people are just sucking that fucking, you know what I mean? Like, they're all over that guy. All right? Then when when that whole shit goes down, it's like it becomes an echo chamber, right? Then everyone's like, hey, good idea, boss, good idea, boss, good idea, boss. And then he gets unchecked, he doesn't grow, and then he's only doing stuff that is like okay for him, and it's enhancing him. And then eventually he starts doing unethical things, right? Because the thing is, like, if you break certain laws, if you do certain immoral things, you can make money. You could sell a bunch of drugs and make money, right? Doesn't mean it's
Yep.
right. But that leader might say one day, man, I need some extra cash. I'm going to go sell some drugs down the street. It's all right, guys? And then his group is going to say, yeah, boss. And everyone's going to go ahead and do it because the group wants, again, to be on his good side. And then what happens is, if anybody challenges his power in that group, he makes examples out of them. So he'll like scream at them in the middle of the group. You'll like, defame him, throw him out, make an example where everyone's like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. So let me not question the leader. Right. And then that whole group dynamic continues. The power in doing what we're doing as these news outlets, the drama alerts, like, the Joker Effect, which is my channel, or the Joker, but the Joker Effect is the show. The whole point behind that is, look, the way you break up groupthink is you challenge the authority.
Yep.
And it gets challenged by, like, other people that are not in the group. And then what happens is if the group is a big enough group of that groupthink group, then it'll be like a war between the truth seekers and then the wicked, which happened, right? It happened with me because like it was a lot of content creators versus us who is the truth seekers, right?
Yep.
But eventually what happens is if it's not big enough, that whole group will get disseminated and they'll be like, yo, that kind of was fucked up. Like you sold drugs down the road, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story is we need to challenge our live streamers. We need to make sure that, Kick from its infancy until whenever does not fall in the same fucking problems that other platforms have fell in. Twitch has had a lot of problems with this. YouTube has a lot of problems with this. DLive had a lot of problems with this, and there's so on and so forth. And if it goes unchecked, then a culture becomes built, and then that's the culture of the platform.
Yep.
Where we have people doing unethical shit that's either going to get them arrested, either put them in harm's way, and that sets a standard for the next live streamers. The youth is going to want to one up what they've seen on the internet. Right now, you have Action Man, you got fucking Ice Poseidon, you got a bunch of people that are just doing, things that are pretty edgy at times. But again, like people are going to want to one up that.
Oh yeah.
These kids are gonna be like, man, like Action Man, he went out there and slapped the guy in the face. Oh, well, now I'm gonna go out there and instead of slapping a guy, I'm gonna take a bat to his knees, ha ha ha, and I'll do that, and then now that's the new standard, and then it's just gonna breed a whole new kind of like viewer, a whole new like person who watches live streams. I don't know if you saw this, but do you follow Sneeko at all?
No, I know who it is, but I haven't.
So there was a segment that came out where there was a bunch of kids that came up to him and said, "Hey, Sneeko, yeah, we don't like the women. Screw the women, or F the women." And he was like, "What the fuck? Like, we love women. What are you talking about?" And he goes, No. Remember, you said this?" And there were kids. They were like 13, 12. Okay. So that's the danger in like highlighting people like that say things and then they have a young audience and the young audience is like, oh, that's the new standard. That's the cool thing to do now. But if we become like the court of public opinion and we're like, nah, bro, you're fucked up, and we're going to go ahead and hold you responsible for this and accountable. Well, now they're going to think twice before making that kind of culture and doing immoral and unethical things that are going to influence our youth.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I do this. I want my son's future to not be full of these fucking hooligans.
No, and that's what that's what I said. I mean, Kick's got, just talking about Kick in general, I mean, it's a great idea. It's a great platform. It's not all bad like everybody, like you see, like the massive tweets that you see. I mean, it took me a year to kind of warm up to it. And, but this is one of the things, I monitored it. I looked to see what it was happening. And then I realized it's not everybody, but yeah, you've got those ones that get into that mentality in that group and they just feel that that's what they have to do to make it.
Well, yeah. And that's again, that's the danger in all this, right? Because everybody wants to be the next XQC. Everybody wants to be the next Dr. Disrespect. Everybody wants to be the next this, that, and the other. And they just don't know how to do it. So what do they do in order for everybody? Because everybody wants to be a content creator now with TikTok, with YouTube, with fucking Twitch, Twitter, whatever. Everybody wants to do it. But they don't know how to do it. They don't know that there is a certain grit involved in this fucking life. You have to be able to put in the time and the effort and do it your own way, and not in your way is going to be different than somebody else's way. You can't do the same as Dr. Disrespect. You just can't. No. You can't do exactly the same way that he's done it because he's done it. He's that. Like, that's his shit. Just like you can't be Keanu Reeves. You can't be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can't, you know what I mean? Everybody has their own brand. You just can't do what they do. Yeah. But you can do what you do, right? So, again, back to what I was saying is like, this is the way that the content genre is going to be, and if kids are going to see this and I'm going to go back to human psychology, all right?
Mhm.
We tend to look for success through what is called the path of least resistance.
Mhm.
Okay? If you want to order a pizza, would you rather pick up your phone and call someone, or just say a plain pizza, right? Plain
Mhm.
pizza. Do you want to pick up the phone, call someone, give them your debit card number, have them process it, and then, ask for your address, so on and so forth? Or would you rather just press a button on your phone that says order pizza and it knows, it's already pre-programmed. You just press it once and you got a pizza coming to your door.
Hell yeah. When I don't have time to do things, that button would be awesome.
Exactly. Okay. And that's the point I want to make, right? So that's the path of least resistance. That is where the human brain in its busy life wants to do things quickly, efficiently. If they know they're going to get something immediately and they have the resources to do it and they're hungry, boom, they press one button and it's done.
Yep.
So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, again, everybody wants to be the next big thing. So they don't know how to do it. There's no manual. There's no book. There's no classes you could take. There's no like program that you could be a part of to be a live streamer. So what is the only thing that they can do? Model
Watch it.
after.
Yep.
Model
Watch
after
everybody
someone.
else.
Right. So they model after someone else, and they see that extreme event equals clicks and
Mhm.
likes, right? So there's a reinforcement mechanism there. Okay. So many people who want to be live streamers are usually A-type personalities. A-type personalities love, 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 love verbal affirmation, likes, comments, engagement, praising, getting praised. So if, say, for instance, they do the next baddest thing, and all of a sudden it's like it gets put on a fucking drama alert or Dexerto or whatever, and then you see a bunch of likes and comments and stuff,
Mhm.
immediately they're reinforced. They get a rush of fucking dopamine. They're in a fucking they're in a high right there, right? They're right at that point in time. They're like on a fucking social media high, and
Yep.
they're like, wow, I got to do the next thing. And then they're going to keep on looking for things that either going to borderline get them arrested or killed,
Yeah.
because that's the stuff that gets the most likes and clicks the fastest, the path of least resistance, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, look at the influencers, Jack Doherty and Neon and all of them that went through their whole, trying to make a big name for themselves doing stupid shit,
But they did, though. You
Yeah.
see, they become the example. Oh, Jack Doherty, oh my gosh, what did he do to get fucking big? And then they look at him and he's in a mall fucking like with a bodyguard and he's like shouldering people. I mean, look, we're talking about it right now. It's stuck,
Right. Yeah.
right? But that's what he's doing. Now somebody's going to be like, oh, well, if he has a bodyguard and he's shouldering people, well, maybe if I were to just to push people now, oh, I just did more than he did. I should get more views now because I did that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like a never ending cycle of people who are uneducated without a mechanism of education in this to being a social media influencer. And all they have to model after right now, currently, that's all in the news, are these fucking live streamers that are doing crazy, outlandish things.
And I mean, and it really doesn't help by putting him in the news is for the fact because, I mean, it doesn't it's not shedding the light on what not to do, because that's what I see. Like when you go to these YouTube videos that make all these YouTube videos about these people, there's never anything in there. It's just like, no instance or no hint, whatever, you should not do this. It's just like they keep feeding off of the energy that they put out to just keep their energy in the video going. But there's no like disclaimer says don't do this.
No. And even if there was, people would still do it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the thing is, right? The media outlets like Dexerto or whatever, they like to highlight like the crazy stuff without criticizing it, right? So they'll just be like, headline: Neon gets banned off of Kick for saying, that he would do weird things, because just recently that actually happened.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know if you saw the headline of that, but there was something with Neon that got him banned concerning a minor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's no kind of like, follow up, like Kick should really fucking get rid of this guy for this, because this is wrong. Nothing like that. No scrutiny, no criticism. It's all, here's the headline. Because what these news agencies want is they want both sides, people who support him and people who don't like him, to like the news agency, right? Doesn't matter if what he did was moral or immoral. The news agency just wants everybody to engage, because if they pick a side, well, now the neon loyals are going to be like, well, fuck that news agency.
Yep.
Right. So that's why they don't criticize. Whereas we have a whole ass fucking live stream here. Like, the Joker effect is, after we're done reporting on Twitter on it and providing some opinion, well, now we're gonna take it to the Joker effect, and then we're gonna criticize the fuck out of it. And then if you want to join in the conversation, anybody can join in and we can have the discussion.
Yeah.
That's literally what we do. So we don't leave it open ended like most news agencies do.
And that's one of the things I liked about your show. Like I said, I saw you here and there when I first started watching people on Kick, but it never really came up, until, certain things started happening. And then, the little circles that I am, they started talking about, it's like, okay, I got to figure out who this guy is. Cause to me, he sounds interesting.
Oh, really? So wait, so let's get into that, man. So what happened, Rebel? Like, how did you hear of me?
Well, it started out, like I said, I went through some of the streams. I watched a couple of your live streams in the beginning when I first started coming over to Kick, and I thought they were interesting and stuff like that, but I really didn't know exactly what you were doing until here, probably the last few, probably a couple of months, then we started, your name started popping up in the circles about, oh, this guy here, he spits things out and calls it facts and everything else, and it's just like, what are you talking about? So it's just like, so that's when I started watching your content and I started getting into it. And then when Harley, HT Harley, she works with me on some other things, writing articles and stuff like that, and so it's just like, okay, so, and everybody in that little circle that I was in was like, oh no, you need to stay clear. He's just bad news. And I'm like, how is he bad news? I go, you don't even know him.
that's like,
all you're doing is reading what is posted and all the negativity that you see, because that's what I did. It's like, I started going through posts and everything else and started, looking at you a little bit and watching some of your stuff when I kid on Kick. And, it's like, this dude's no different than me. I go, except for I don't have the ability, because I don't know why, I just never have, but I just don't have the ability to present it like you do, or present it like all the other, news sources that call people out. I have the same thoughts and ideas, but for some reason, when I start to do something, it just gets all jumbled up. So I leave it to the professionals.
Oh, well, no. Hey, look, you have your own way of doing it, man. And you can't let anything stop you. If you have these ideas and you have these thoughts and you're like, hey, I want to talk about this, dude, just, find your own way to do it. And you write articles, like you said, right? That's a medium. That's a way to do it. Right. I mean, become one of the warriors here that are fighting against the machine that is, again, that is going to really fuck over the world if it goes unchecked, And not only that, but not just in live streaming, but in politics and in finance. There are many worlds that we can, again, we can come out and have these conversations about, corruption and tyranny. And in law enforcement as well, there's really bad cops. I've seen First Amendment audits out there. I love watching those, by the way. Shout out to Long Island Audit and Bay Area Transparency. Really great auditors. But those are the kind of YouTube videos that I like to watch, and that's kind of like, again, when you hold people accountable, they think twice before doing stupid shit like that, infringing on our rights, not allowing us to do the things that we want to do, and people get punished for expressing their again, and exercising their First Amendment of just our God-given right of talking. God has given us the ability to speak. This is a right that God has given us. Why should we be attacked for an opposing opinion? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. And then you see that people are misguided, right? So like the opposition, and I'll tell you what, okay, the opposition in many cases, they have like this it's like a orchestrated slander campaign against people like myself or anyone else like me, where you have the bigger kind of like creators that are out there like, oh well, fuck Joker. And the reason why they're saying that is because I'm challenging shit that keeps them in power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really that simple. It's like if I were to say you're the ruler of your land, and people see you and they call you God, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's not a god, he's flesh and bone. What's that king gonna do? He's gonna be like, oh, for real? I'm gonna off with his head. He's a criminal. He's a thief. He's a criminal, right?
Yep.
So it's the same kind of situation here, right? Where people are influenced by these bigger influencers to say things about me. I mean, I've even had like Ice Poseidon. I've had Action Man talk about me. I've had, Drama Alert actually blocked me on Twitter. I'm serious, because I'm a competitor to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably because you're a competitor.
Yeah, I'm a competitor to them, right? So, and then they try to tell people not to fuck with me. Again, it's the same situation, right? And just on a smaller scale than the whole King thing. But I find it interesting that even in your circle, people are telling you like, hey, like steer clear from this guy. And I'll tell you what, to your audience and to anybody else that's out there, I'm a normal human being. I'm not a fucking cynical, crazy motherfucker. I mean, don't get me wrong. I play, I play the role of a clown, right? But that's all done purposely to bring awareness to stuff, right? It's all done purposely because like the Joker is not really an evil person. He's more like a product of his surroundings, right? And that's kind of why I selected this character, because he's a product of his surroundings. He's not, he's not something that just became. He was created because of how people treated him, right? And that's exactly what's happened here, right? People have made me in my content journey because they wanted to defame me. They wanted to say I was view botting. They wanted to say I was a follow for follow community. I ran the first fucking Kick community out, and that was out here. That was community ran before Kick made an official Kick community Twitter page. I was the one that made it. Like the Discord, there was like 3,000 plus members in it. It was quite massive at the time. All content creators, but Kick told us to stop doing that, and they said they didn't want to fucking give me a partner first class, second class, or third class because I was affiliated with what was seen as a follow for follow community, which it wasn't. But again, that's when I was playing nice with everybody, and I didn't do the fucking Drama Alert thing, right? I was more like, hey, I want to be a mentor and build the content creators of the space here. Well, that fell through because Kick wanted to do it its own way, and then people were defaming me at that time. So I was like, all right, well, now that you want to be cynical and you want to show me who the fuck you are as being snakes, well, now I'm going to cut the grass and I'm going to show everybody where the snakes are at, right? So, and that's kind of what motivated me to do what I'm doing right now. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That just makes me a truth teller and somebody who's shining a very bright light on all those content creators that you or anybody would say, oh, I love them so much, but yet you don't know what the fuck they're doing in the background. But when they do it, you best believe I'll go ahead and cover it.
Oh, and definitely you should. I mean, like I said, that what you're doing is not new. I mean, like you said, it's been around for years. I mean, like you quoted, Howard Stern. Howard Stern was the same way. He was the one when he first started. He was blackballed from almost every radio station possible, until finally people gave up and sit there and say, okay, this is going to happen. He's going to be this way. He's bringing in the people to listen because there are more people that want to listen to this kind of stuff. Whether or not they act on it's a different story, but they still do like to listen, and they'd like to be interactive with it.
Absolutely. And that's why, that's why I do this, because the conversations need to be had, right? Regardless of what people think or how they feel on certain things. We have to have the conversations. And you know what? Once we do, and once they visit my live stream, eventually they're like, wait a minute, this is pretty fucking dope. I don't know why I don't like this, right? Like, it's like, why don't I like this? Because somebody told me I don't like it? No, I like it because I'm watching it. It's making sense to me. And the most important thing is we always find resolve after every single live stream, dude. I have unmasked a pedophile ring. I have unmasked a fucking a huge scam just
Hmm.
recently.
Yep.
Okay, or alleged scam. I'll call it alleged
Yeah.
scam.
Legend. Yeah. Legend.
I've unmasked that. I've unmasked a very big conflict with Kickcraft, where the developer had eventually tore it down and the reasons why he tore it down. I've unmasked where partners were actively blackballing people, and on stream they were holding live streams just to kind of like throw a channel up that they didn't like and had everybody attack them, kind of like weaponizing their audiences. I've unmasked all that, and I'm hated for it, you
Huh.
know. But
Eh,
but that's again when people do tune in to watch these live streams, they're like, oh,
yeah.
and that's why I have so much support. That's why I have like 500 to 800 people watching me, is because of that reason.
No, I mean it's exactly what I did. Like I said, it's especially because the whole alleged scam you were just talking about. You know, I kind of talked to a few of a couple of the people that were involved with that too, and you know, off of it on another subject. But so I went back and watched that one, you know, because I sit there and I watched that one in its entirety because I really wanted to hear. Because, like I said, it was information. I didn't understand exactly what the whole issue was until, you know, I watched, you know, the replay of the video the other day. And so then when I got to doing my own, you know, going through and looking at the deals, the places that were, you know, involved and everything else, it's like, yeah, this is totally not right, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, look, we were able to collect all the evidence. We had the dude that made the video initially, right? That that one artist that was, that came forward with it
Mm-hmm.
when he went on Twitter. Um, and he showed it. He's like, look, here's the evidence, here's the problems. We broke it down in a timeline that made sense, and then we displayed it to the community. And the fact that you watched it in its entirety, you know, just you alone watching the entire thing is a big win to me, because now you're going out on your platform and now you're doing your own investigation. You're doing your own like diligence and figuring it out. And you seem like a smart dude. Like, I'm glad that you picked that up, because now you can take it and further research, further get people involved, right? So this way less people will get scammed by it. Because the day that we did that live stream, it jumped from like $30,000 to like 50, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like 50 fucking $1,000, bro. You know how much money people are losing?
And then like it was said in the stream, you know, like the two guys that were talking, it's just like, it wasn't just, you know, people were borrowing money to give to these you know, to these entertainers and stuff like that. It's just like, so they were actually taking money from other people so that they could give to
Yeah, and
that
get scammed.
entertainer. Yeah.
Allegedly, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but imagine if we didn't, or if number one, the artist didn't jump up to talk about it first. Imagine he didn't do that. And then imagine if nobody else picked it up and it just died after he talked about it. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody else talked about it. Nobody took it, like no news channel took it and did anything with it. Well, I said, you know what? It's my responsibility to make sure that we highlight this and we show that this exists. Because if we do that, well, guess what? The next person ain't gonna fucking do it. Because
No.
now we're
Yeah.
showing people that this could be a scam. Now we have all the investors, everybody who put money into it, questioning. Maybe this could have opened up a class action lawsuit against that company that allegedly scammed people, or at the very least, a fucking investigation.
You know, and it's from as long as as long as you guys found out that company's been around, it's like, how many other alleged scams have they done to people, you know, throughout their time in the space.
Exactly. So again, that just highlights why we do this, right? And I'm glad, and I really, really implore you to go out there and be that person, even if you can't like if you see it where you're like, oh man, like I can't articulate in a way that I want to, but I'm thinking all these same thoughts. dude, you can write shit, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so
Yeah.
many mediums that you can do. Even like, something scripted. It doesn't matter. Just read off a fucking teleprompter. Like, because dude, we need people like you out there.
Oh, I used to get shadow banned on my Twitter account back when because I used to be a big last year during the whole the Dylan Mulvaney thing and everything else that was going on. I was a big thing on Twitter, and I'd always used to get shadow banned on Twitter.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that now, bro. Elon Musk is around.
But
That's no longer a thing. But there are ways that you can, project your message out there without worry of like getting throttled, right? So like, don't use hashtags. Post on other posts. Don't put direct links in like your tweets, because then that actually gets throttled. So don't put links in your chat or in your chat, but don't put And then there's other things that you can do as well. I speak to a Twitter representative weekly now. I got reached out and assigned one just recently. So
oh wow.
Yeah. They are they're essentially like a marketing specialist or whatever they're called.
Okay. Yeah.
So they've seen that my tweets have gotten a lot of traction recently, and they're trying to help magnify that.
Nice.
Yeah. They do it for, I guess, you have to pass a certain threshold.
Yeah.
For them to be like, all right, let's talk.
No, and like I said, that's like I said, with that whole during because I was more political. And I used to get the same thing. It's like every time we brought something up political, I always used to get, bashed by inner circles and the people that I work with, because they don't understand, they're one, like you said, they're a follower. They find the group they want to follow, and they feel comfortable in that group, and they don't want to disturb, the aura they got going or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like they don't want to disturb that. But that, again, that goes back to the concept of like, they just want to like be in control. They want to be in power, and they don't want anyone else to impede or encroach on what they've built. So what do? They essentially build these walls around you, shadow banning you or whatever, to like stop your voice from being heard. For a while, just so you know, Kick was doing that. Kick was throttling people. They actually have a way to shadow ban you here.
Oh yeah.
And I remember not too long ago, actually, like 3 weeks ago or something like that, I got fucking shadow banned on Kick. And I was like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, why did I get shadow? Like, and the things I was talking about was in favor of the people that were shadow banning me. Like, it was actually in favor of them. So I had ended up, trying to figure out like what the fuck happened. I messaged support, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your account was throttled." And I'm like, "But why? Like, what the fuck? Like, what we didn't hurt anybody. We didn't talk shit about anybody. We were news gathering, and we were talking to the people that were affected by this, and you shadow banned me for that." So then, like, they took, or after that, they started like putting things down on a community guideline page. Like, they changed their guidelines after that. So I think I also impacted some change there. But back to what I was saying is like, yeah, it was fucked up, man.
Well, see, it's just like you're talking about the throttling and stuff like that. They want to, everybody wants to promote, these sites want to promote free speech or, up to a certain point, no hate speech and stuff like that. But then you start talking about this kind of stuff, and they put you in that throttle to where, you can't get it out. So, Mixer was that way. When Mixer shut down, I talked to a few Mixer partners, and they said, yeah, they had the same thing. They were able to inflate views through the back end, on certain creators. They were able to, make sure that they had, inflate the followership, inflate the views and everything else. And I'm sure Twitch does the same thing. It's, you got to realize it's a website. It can be manipulated.
Yeah, it absolutely can. Like they all have their own mechanisms of doing it, but the point is, like,
I like to get the sides. I like the sides of every story, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't like stop people from chatting in my chat. Doesn't matter which side of the fence they're shooting on, right? And if it's one creator versus another creator, whatever, I don't care. I will offer both creators to come up and have a civilized discourse on my channel, and that's a fact. I've always done that,
Yeah.
and it's usually the less popular one that is always willing to come up on the channel. Okay,
Oh yeah.
so an example would be, and I'm going to name drop here, Dalt Wisney. I don't know if you know who that is.
I've heard of him.
So Dalt Wisney is a phase partner. I forget which phase he's partnered on, but he essentially has influence in the staff. Okay, and in like their partner Discord or whatever it's called. And because like the partners, they have their own like way to contact staff through this Discord. But anyway, long story short, he had an issue with Kickcraft, which Kick was promoting as like community driven Kick Minecraft server, and his developer ended up taking the files of Kickcraft and shutting it down because of a miscommunication that they had or whatever it was. It was something financial. Well, I offered Dalt Wisney to come up on the panel and he declined. So I was like, okay, well, let me go talk to the dev. And the dev said, yeah, I'll go up on there. I'll go ahead and tell my side of the story. Well, the dev is not a fucking Kick class partner, but Dalt Wisney is. As I was interviewing the dev, tell me why my channel got shadow banned.
Yeah.
That's clear as day to me. You know what I mean? That's clear as day. Stop Joker. Stop him now because he's talking to the dev that stole Kickcraft. What's the big deal? I want everyone's side of the story.
Yeah.
Even if the guy is a fucking murderer or a criminal, I want to ask him, why the fuck did you do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to know. Like, why is it that you thought this was okay? So,
No, I mean, that's, like I said, it's one of the reasons why, I reached out to you, because I personally, I wanted to meet you. I wanted to get inside your head and kind of figure out why you did what you did, or why you do what you do. I mean, I kind of had an idea because, like I said, it's kind of like the thoughts that are in my head. I just can't get them out like like you guys can. But no, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, this is the job that nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're not going to get the most amount of donations and fucking money and opportunity, your brand risk or whatever. Like, people don't want to fuck with you when you're like this, but they'll still tune in and watch you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the important part of this. This is one of those things that, like, people want to see what's happening, but they don't want to see, they don't want to be seen like, applauding it or supporting it because their peers are going to judge them for it.
Yeah.
Right. And really that's as, as true as it comes, man. If you're doing this for money, you don't want to do what I'm doing.
No.
This
is like, that's like I tell people, it's like, well, I think I told you too in a post, it's like, I don't judge anybody for anything they do, or I don't take anybody else's judgment as my own judgment, so it's the reason why it's like when people talk bad about other people for doing good or, making it big or something like that, or, like on live streaming where their numbers are high and stuff like that. Now don't get me wrong. I'm kind of like you. I can see through some of the bullshit and some of the creators out there that, fake their way to where they're at. And it's just not on Kick. It's all platforms. So, I mean, and I call it out, to myself. It's like, and to a couple of the people that I talk to, stuff like that. But yeah, you start bringing it out like you do. Yeah. But then when you start bringing it out, like you said, when you start bringing it out to the general public, then those people that you talk to about it in the shadows and stuff like that, they all start backing away.
all the time. all
Like,
the time, man.
come on, dude.
Yeah. Well, but that's what it is. Like it's just, I don't blame them for not getting involved,
Yeah.
right? Because generally speaking, people like to, they like what they like in secret, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I always say, like, I have a lot of lurkers because I do, and I proved that I did. When people are like, oh, he's view botting, I was like, no, I'm going to prove that I have lurkers. And what I did was I trolled the community. I had a fake beef with Chavez, and we ended up like, he said that he had concrete evidence about me view botting, blah blah blah, and everybody was like, oh my god, I got to watch this. and then eventually we rickrolled the community, and then immediately after we rickrolled them, I lost like 250 views.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, look at all those lurkers that just left after we rickrolled them. Look at how isn't that so fucking obvious, huh? Now you tell me I don't have hate watchers. Tell me I don't have people that are just watching just to watch, right? So, that was a very big telling moment because I had to develop a way to discredit that stupid narrative of view botting.
Yeah.
Because there's, again, I don't do that shit. Like my tweets alone, like if people talk shit about me and they reveal something about me, it's like people get like 75, 100,000 views or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Because again, like that's how impactful I am in a lot of ways. It's actually more beneficial to people to talk shit about me on Twitter than support me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, your engagement on Twitter, that's one of the things. It's like, I see your engagement on Twitter. I see, your chat when you're in, your live streams and stuff like that. The last couple of times I've been in there, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's lurkers. I mean, people don't realize that the lurkers, like you said, will come out in the end when you call them out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, I can say something, and here's another big controversy that happened, right? Where I was talking about gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is it's a mental health illness, okay, that transgender people suffer, because it's again, there's two criteria that needs to be met. One being they have to not like being the gender that they are, and the second one is they want to be called or assigned the opposite gender, right? So a man wants to be a woman, and a man is not happy being a man, which typically is the case in both circumstances, or in both symptoms. Those both have to be present, or there's other symptoms as well for the criteria for people to have gender dysphoria. And then however many symptoms that they show is the level that they have, the severity, right? Which would be like mild, moderate, extreme, whatever it is. So, and this is all per the DSM-5,
Yeah.
which a DSM-5 is a manual that psychiatrists use to diagnose you. Okay. That's like the Bible in psychology.
Yep.
I said that this exists. I literally educated my audience on this. Somebody within that community took a 5-second clip of that and made a huge fucking deal. That wasn't even chatting in my chat, but they took a 5-second clip of that and they blew it up all over Twitter, and they said how I'm a bigot or whatever. And then even to the point where DreamHack had taken away my creator pass because I was supposed to be like in the content creator space, but they took my creator pass away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it got even to that point where it was that big. So, I mean, there's a lot, again, like people don't understand, like there's a lot of people that lurk, they watch, they hear what I have to say. And that's all because, like, again, the topics that I bring up are extremely, extremely important.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, that live stream that I did, it was with Grayson Rogers, and it was with this other guy named Freddie Quotes, who were talking about Jesus Christ and God. That whole stream. And they took that one segment about me educating about gender dysphoria as a psychologist, by the way, because that's what I am as a psychologist. So I'm qualified to talk about this.
Yep.
But they didn't think about that. They just said, oh, look at him. He's a bigot.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing too, is like, I don't, try to tell all my creator friends and stuff like that, and the creators that I interact with, it's like and the new ones, especially the ones that, slowly starting to come into the space and trying to figure out their way. It's like, do not believe and do not watch everything that you see on social media, TikTok, all that good stuff. You know, make sure you do your due diligence and figure it out for yourself. Don't just jump on board the first train that comes along.
Well, that's another pandemic, my friend.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic of those who don't want to do research.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of people like to just read the cover of a book and just say like they know the book, but in reality, there's a lot more to the book than just the cover, right?
Yep.
And then a lot of people like to just be told information, and then when they get told information, well, now that's the gospel. Now, oh yeah, I know all my shit now because, you know, this person told me online, or I heard it from this YouTube video. And people usually don't want to even read things anymore. I don't know if you know, and I'm sure you've seen this before, but there's people out there that, you know, will be given a whole paragraph of information. They'll be like, yep, I'm not reading all that.
Yep.
And it's like, but why not? Why not educate yourself? Because we are now in a pandemic of really the dumb, like the stupid,
Oh yeah.
the
No, I agree.
uneducated, the people who don't even want to educate themselves, that close their brains to reading, again, like a 5 or 10 sentence, whatever sentence fucking paragraph on a topic that could or could not be useful information. I mean, anything. If anybody puts out information where there's, again, like a paragraph involved, then there could be some good stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
And at the very least, skim through it.
Yeah.
At the very least. But to say, yep, I'm not even going to read it. Like, what are you doing? Why?
I know
It's
that.
because, you know, we're in that time frame
Yeah,
where people don't want to educate themselves.
that irritates me so much when people do that. It's just like, if I give somebody something to read and it's just like, you know, I don't expect you to read, like I said, if it's long, no, I don't expect you to read the whole thing, but at least skim through the highlights and the high points.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I understand, you know, like people don't want to waste their time because time is precious. But what are you? Okay, so if you're not going to take your time to read through things and educate yourself, then what is more important than educating yourself? What is
Yeah.
it? Like, self-growth, I think, should be on the highest priority on anyone's kind of agenda, whether it be working out, whether it be, you know, building something, helping humanity, I don't know, like educating yourself in a way, learning a trade or a skill. But like, if you're like, nah, I ain't reading all that, and then you're like off to the side just intoxicating yourself with marijuana, then that's not productive. You're just wasting your time. You're wasting your life away.
Yeah.
You might as well not even be on this planet. Not saying for them to hurt themselves or whatever, but like, you're
Yeah.
just not a use to yourself. You're not a use to your family. You're not a use to the society around you. Like, you're just invisible at that point.
No,
Right?
definitely. No, like I said, that's one thing I always preach to everybody. It's like whatever there's something to, if you're not a total understanding of what's going on and you just come off judgment without even realizing what is going on, you know, it's just like with your content, you know, and just everybody else's content that does the same thing. There's more behind the person than just what you hear and what you see. You know, there's a reason, just like you said, you know, you took on the persona of the Joker because of, you know, the Joker, perfect example. The Joker is actually the perfect example of society as a whole, because the Joker, like you said, became what society made him.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, so it's like we all become what society makes us. It depends on how we utilize that and make it more beneficial to other people. So,
Well, yeah, and that's the whole concept behind the Joker, right? Like, I like to call myself the real Joker because I am the real Joker. The Joker is an idea. The Joker is someone, like you said, and like I said earlier, that was made from society. Society had, you know, bullied him, attacked him. You know, they created, you know, social norms that are not, you know, or it doesn't build you up as a person. It's meant to break you down. It's
yeah.
meant to enslave you monetarily. You know, there's this thing called wage slavery. And wage slavery is you wake up in the morning, you get up and you go to work. When you're going to work, you work until 9, 10 o'clock at night after you got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, only to come home, eat food, pay your bills, and go to sleep and do it again and
Yep.
do it again, all while you're waiting for the weekend. And the weekend, all you're doing is resting because you're so fucking tired from the work week.
Yep.
Okay. And then you're doing that over and over and over and over again for until you're 62, 63 years old. And then what? You retire, you paid off your house, and they're still taxing you, and they're still taxing you, and they're still taxing you.
Yep.
It's all meant to fucking enslave you. And then they tell you, oh, have kids, get married, buy a house. They're telling you to do things that are like all debt driven, where you have to pay someone and you're always paying interest to a bank or somebody. And then, oh, you want to travel. Now, you want to go see the world, right? That costs money, right? All tourism places. It's all meant to enslave you financially. There is no wage. There is no financial freedom.
No.
And then what happens? Your kids have to endure the same thing. When you die, they tax you again. Inheritance tax, right? You'll be dead.
Yep.
They're taxing you. So like, it's the system is designed to keep us enslaved.
Oh,
We're the
definitely.
only creatures on this world, that pay to live.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm the Joker. I'm going to do things differently. So this way I can expose certain things and hopefully wake some motherfuckers up and maybe teach people to do it differently so we don't have to endure this wage slavery. So one thing that I like to talk about a lot is cryptocurrency, because the elites really don't have control over that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's awesome. I love crypto for that reason. They can't just turn off your banks. You take out the middlemen. Decentralization, get rid of the middlemen. I love that. The reason why I love Kick so much is because it challenged Amazon. Because it was like it took power away from Amazon.
Yep.
And Amazon is run by the elites. That's why I like Kick. Like, I like it more than anything else now. But Kick is also starting to make some really weird moves. Ever since they hired ex Twitch employees, they started changing. This was since like May, June of last year.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I started to see some of those changes happen. And again, as things were changing, I was implementing my own way, like to stop them from doing stupid shit and becoming a censor platform like Twitch is. So what I didn't want to happen was, oh, well, Twitch just renamed itself to Kick and has new management, but the same old Twitch ways. That's what I didn't want to happen. And I think I achieved that because I got everybody riled up about freedom of speech and everything. So I think they got a lot of slaps on the wrist for doing some of the shit that they were doing, and they had to stop it. Even to this last community guideline shit that they put out, like I challenged them, and there was some backroom talk. I know that for a fact. So, again, this is what we have to do to keep not only the platform free, where we can have our creative freedom and not worry about this place becoming like Twitch, but also not worrying about, also holding people like Staff Aiden Ross or any other creators accountable for the stupid shit that they do. So finding that happy medium between creative freedom and freedom of speech and like doing shit that's going to really harm us.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I think, like I said in the beginning, I think Kick is great for the fact because it is creator focused. I applaud them for that. But yeah, getting rid, it needs to, I mean, you're not going to get total rid of the wild, wild west mentality because, I mean, Twitch still had it in a certain way. All these other platforms still have it. I just think it just needs to be controlled a little bit better which I think it's on. I think it's on the right track as long as they stay on that track.
Like this thing with Neon, right? Him getting banned. That was a good move.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. You know, he went, and even though it was a kid, you know, it was a 9-year-old or 10-year-old or whatever that was cursing him out. I mean, the parents are stupid for allowing their 10-year-old to go on Monkey app, right? I think that's fucked up. But this just 10-year-old went on there and he was cursing out Neon, and Neon cursed him out and said some really fucked up things. But Neon's the adult here.
Yeah.
And a live streamer at that. So he's a business, he's a brand, and that brand just tarnished itself by attacking a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
You don't attack kids, bro. Like, I don't care like how much he was cursing you out. All you have to do is say, hey, do your parents know you're on here? You need to fucking go tell them, like, you know, get off of the internet. That's all you need to do is tell them, get off the internet. This is not a safe space, and go next, right? Just next that, right? This way, it's like, you know, you told the kid to get off the freaking, you know, the platform. So, like, that's the most you could do. Or you could just next them. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you wanted to say anything, that's probably the only content you would have had, because anything else would just be weird.
Yeah. Right? Well, it's just like you said, going back, you know, that is what he was built off of. That's what he started his, you know, community off of, or his rise to fame was because that's what he used to do to everybody else. He used to come into these, you know, people's chats and stuff like that. Because I remember watching things, you know, when he started growing and stuff like that. That's how he became popular, is being the negative loudmouth that he used to scream and everything else at everybody that came on.
Yeah. Well, he even cursed out my buddy Goose Wayne. So I have a friend of mine named Goose, who was on Dr. Phil, Goose Wayne Batman.
Oh, wow.
So he, you know, he was on there because he thought he was the real Batman. And, you know, we're still friends until this day. I can message him or whatnot. He's a really good guy. Really, really good guy. Father. I mean, he memes himself a lot, but he doesn't mean ill will or anything. Like, he's funny. Like, he's a funny guy. I appreciate him very much because he's, again, I think he's a great person. But he went on Monkey app and he ran into Neon, and Neon said really fucked up things to him. You know, and they didn't even know him, but just said a lot of really crazy stuff about, like, killing him or whatever it was that he said.
Holy cow.
So, yeah, like that's the level of crazy this guy is.
Jeez.
Yeah. So.
But no, I mean, one thing is, like I said, I know. I mean, watching your content and stuff like that, I know what people were saying about. I understand why they were saying it, is because, like you said at the beginning when we started this whole thing, is they can't handle the truth. You know, it's the same.
They misunderstand it, man. Like, they don't take the time to actually understand why I do the things that I do, right? And that's really what it boils down to. It's like, if they would just take the time to speak and to have a conversation, I don't turn anyone away. Like, they call me the kick boogeyman. Like, people are scared of me, and I'm like, why? Like, have a conversation. What's the fucking problem with talking? You know, and they don't want to, because I guess they fear, like, I'm gonna expose them or something. I don't know. Maybe they have some skeletons in their closets.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go for.
You know, maybe that's the case, right? And if they do have skeletons in their closets, that will surface one day, and I will expose you. Because people who are shady do shady things, and eventually that gets brought to light.
Yeah.
So yes, I will expose you if you are, like, a pedophile or something. Beware. Like, I'm coming for you.
Well, and it needs to be. That 100% needs to be, especially in a space like this here, to where all different ages groups are, you know, I know it says it's 13 and above, but we all know that, you know, it's a lot younger than that gets on these spaces. But
yeah, well, look, you know, like I said, like, they're very present here, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know, if that's why they're afraid to come to talk to me, because they're like, oh shit, he's gonna dig up this dirt that I did, like, you know, last year or something, that I murdered somebody. Like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and expose you. You are absolutely right. You should be scared.
Yeah.
But if you're not that person, I'm a normal guy.
No,
You know,
I mean
I
that's
don't care
all.
about I don't care about your relationship status. I don't care if you had an argument with your wife. Like, that's not news to me. What's news to me is streamer went and robbed a bank. Like, that's
Yeah.
news. You know, like, I'll talk about that.
Well, and that's one reason why I wanted to bring you on. I know, like I said, a little rusty because I haven't been doing this for a while, but that's one reason why I found all the the few negative comments that I've seen about you, and then watched the live streams and stuff like that, and reached out to you, and it just to talk to you for what we talked tonight. I mean, yeah, you're just a down to earth. I mean, you're genuine in your convictions about how you want to make the place where, like you said, your kids will probably be at, and for other people's kids and everything else, and just make it a safe spot, a place to come and hang out and have fun and learn.
It's not just Kick, my friend. It's the world, bro.
Oh yeah.
Because look, Aiden Ross has like hundreds of thousands of people watching him. Okay. A lot of the people on Kick have thousands of people watching them. If they start making a bad culture and a bad example of how we operate, and they're like, all right, well, we're just gonna fucking do all this bad shit. Tomorrow's youth is being literally, I guess, weathered or taught
Mm-hmm.
by these people, how to act. And when you teach youth this kind of shit, it's going to stick throughout their adulthood.
Oh yeah.
They're going to do this kind of shit when they're adult. Like, tomorrow's human beings are going to be fucked up. Like I don't see, again, as a psychologist, I'm speaking as a psychologist here. We are ingraining these ideologies in our children. Like, that's how bad this is. Kids are watching these guys without parental kind of like intervention. And that's why, like, schools are very like important, right? Like, they don't want like anything to like, harm a kid's education, or any like garbage being put in front of children. But the thing is, overwhelmingly, those that have a low socioeconomic status are putting tablets in front of their kids.
Oh yeah.
And that's what's teaching them. And guess what? There's a lot more impoverished people in the world than there are those that are educated and that are making a good living. What that means is that we're going to be outnumbered with what's going to be a very bad population later on in life, and the crime rates and everything else are going to skyrocket.
Oh yeah.
The world is going to be a very fucked up place in the next 10 to 15 years if we don't fucking stop this.
Well, I mean, we've already kind of started seeing that just in the last year. I mean, look at the teen.
Well, that's pandemic shit. You wait. In about, like I said, 10 to 15 years, humanity is going to be very, 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 very fucked.
Oh yeah. No, I can see it. I mean, I've always been able to see it, but
Well,
that's why I'm glad there's enough, or there's more people that are trying to wake people up. But it's going to take more than just one or two or three or four or 10. That's the sad part.
well, yeah, but again, like, if we can influence influencers, right? That's the whole point behind this. This isn't just one person. Like, you have to look at every influencer like a pod. Okay? So, an example is, I influenced you as you watched, my live stream about the whole scam thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you watched the whole thing about the scam stuff, and you did your own research, and now you want to go ahead and, through your medium, talk about it, right?
Yep.
And then your audience is going to see that. And the thing is about Kick is, like, it's a very unique opportunity for us to influence other influencers as the cell of Kick.
So as we create this culture where there is this, again, this, I would like to call it the court of public opinion to hold people responsible for their actions.
Yep.
Well, now that's going to breed a culture that people aren't going to do stupid things on camera that will harm the next generation of influencers and the next generation of influencers. And if Kick becomes the leader over Twitch, well, we just influence the world, bro.
Oh, definitely.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
What we're doing here, at least with the drama seeking and the drama channel, the drama alert, whatever. We're essentially providing people an overarching kind of like, again, not an authority, but something that will hold you accountable if you do shit that's harmful to the public. So if you go out there and you're like, you're talking shit to 10-year-olds or you're a pedophile ring or whatever, we're going to show you that no, that's not fucking allowed, bro. Even if, because the staff of Kick were in that guy's channel, fucking like encouraging it in Riot's channel. Imagine if we didn't go after that and that was unchecked.
Yeah.
What would happen then?
Well, and that's what's happening with the world today is there's not, all the checks and balances are they're trying to snuff, I don't know if they're just trying to snuffle them or if it's just people are just too lazy to, like, we talked about in the beginning, they don't want to go out and research. They don't want to read the paragraphs. They don't want to. So they just.
We have to build a culture where it is accepted for us to be this way, where people are truth seekers, that there is a reward of getting popularity and publicity for holding those accountable. So this way there's more truth seekers out there. There's more like you, me, Chavez, Mischief, Scraplet. I mean, there's more of us out there that are like, no, you're not going to fucking do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if we don't do that and we breed this culture that it's accepted and we're just going to kind of like, all right, like, we're not even going to do anything about it and we're just complacent. Well, if doing nothing is complacency, that means that we're okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, like if we don't work to influence the Kick creators, then the Kick creators are going to build a culture that's going to be oppressive. It's going to be controlling. It's going to be narrative building that's going to only, again, like be good for the few. It's just an overall like a bad cesspool that's going to turn into a very, very bad thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. This platform could be the leader in doing what is right if it's, cleaned up. And like I said, I think I really do, like I said, after talking to you tonight and like watching your stuff, the Joker's not a bad dude. I'm gonna vouch for him. He's not a bad dude. I mean, he's got the right head on his shoulder and everything else, what needs to be done, but like we were talking about earlier in the podcast, it's like the haters are gonna hate no matter what, because that's just what they're wired to do. But maybe with them doing what I did, listening to people, and I actually went and did my own research. Went through and looked at your VODs, talked with you on Twitter, went through your Twitter line. I researched you out, before I invited you on. It's just like, there's nothing wrong with this guy. There's people out there that don't want to hear the truth, plain and simple.
That's a fact, because it challenges their authority. It challenges their power. And if they're the ones that are in power and they're in control of things, they're going to start spreading narratives that will discredit me, because again, I'm challenging their authority.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, and that's just really what it boils down to. But the thing is, like, I'm not a person that just, goes belly up. Like I'm a fighter, and I make sure that I get my point across, and I know how to make my point way better than many of these fucking people that are controlling. So,
and then
yeah, I'm not that. Yeah, I'm not a bad guy. This is not scripted. None of this is scripted.
No.
This is just straight from the cuff,
right from the top of the head. So like everything I just told you is genuine. It's really my concerns. And I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. I have a really good paying job. I make well over 6 figures a year. Um, it's not a big deal to me, right?
Yeah.
But what I do want is I want to help mold the future for my son.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, and this goes unchecked, this could pretty much be something that would harm humanity rather than help it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because if it's not, if I mean, with what you're doing, keeping it in check, and because if there weren't people, you know, influencers like yourself out there, this platform would go off the rails. It would have probably already been off the rails, to tell you.
It would have been 50 times worse.
Yeah, it would have already been off the rails.
Because I even had like meetings with staff from the beginning. Like staff. I'm talking about like Eddie. I've had multiple conversations with the big boys of Kick, and you know, a lot of the things that I've suggested, and I said, hey, this should be a thing, has been implemented. So they're listening to me. They know that like what I'm saying is coming from, number one, an intellectual place that is not just driven by emotion, because it's not, but it's an intellectual place. And then the second place that's coming from is a place of concern, not from the heart, but it's a concern, which means that it doesn't make sense. It's meant to harm something. I know what my goals are, and my goals are, number one, first and foremost, is to protect my child.
No, definitely. 100%.
And I don't want him to grow up in a world that's 30 times more dangerous because of Kick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not about that. We need to keep some form of, you know, at least some form of an influence to the influencers that are going to influence the masses, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't go live every day. I can't do it by myself. But if I create a culture that the influencers can essentially follow, that is productive, that will help humanity in a way that it's going to be safe later on, then we're good. And by the way,
Definitely.
I was a military police officer. Like, you know, I understand what it is to, you know, be a part of the rule of the land of the United States, right? Like I upheld the Constitution. I swore an oath on 2 separate occasions to protect and defend that document, or not the document, but the ideas and the rules behind
Yeah.
the document.
Yeah.
So,
And like I said, that was another reason why I wanted to bring you on, because I wanted you to, you know, have a safe space to be able to, you know, without worry about criticism or anything else like that. I mean,
dude, I would have loved
it.
criticism, man.
I mean, yeah, I was kind of hoping, you know, I did put it on emote only to start out. It's like, nah, I took that off. It's like, come on, let's get some action in here. But like I said, I know this channel being freshly new to Kick, I wasn't expecting like a big audience to start with anyways, but
No, it's fine, man. Look, you know, this conversation, whoever it is that you want to share it to, any of the people that are, you know, skeptical on any of the situation or any of the conversations you've had prior to, they can now go back to this and be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, guy is fucking this way or that way, right?
and it's one thing too, is it's like, yeah, if you listen to the negativity, don't take it for heart. You know, my mom always told me never to judge a book by its cover, period.
Yeah.
And never to judge other people's judgments. And so that's the reason why, you know, I did the research.
Them to judge me though. That's the thing. So like everything that's being said about me, right? If it's something constructive, that's my teacher, right? That's a person that is saying, hey, Joker, I don't think you should do it this way. You should do it that way, right? The greatest professor that you have that's going to help you through life are your critics, literally.
Very true.
Right? And not your trolls that are like trying to break you down or whatever. You know what I do with them? They're not my teachers. They're my megaphones. So what I do is I use those people. Like literally, I use my haters. They want to bring the flames in the fire. I'll go ahead and take that fire and put it in the freaking barrel of a gun and shoot a target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'll put it in a kiln and I'll forge a sword from it. So, like, you want to go ahead and bring the heat? I welcome all the heat. I have thousands of haters, thousands, and I love it. I love the fact that they're going out there and telling people that not to watch me, because the smart people like you will be like, wait a minute, let me see what he's about,
Yep.
right? And that's why I do these kinds of discussions. By the way, I'm okay with doing like live streams like this because, again, there's similar people that have similar kind of concerns and they want to go ahead and figure it out.
Mhm.
And now you can take this and bring it back to whoever it is that told you to stay away from me and say, well, here's his motivation. And
Yeah.
this is raw, like a raw motivation. This is what you got from just him saying it. This isn't something he wrote down.
Yep.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
anybody that's watched my podcast over the last 5 years knows I don't do scripts. So
Yeah. So exactly. And that's good because you learn a lot from a person if like you say something that's off the cuff and I'm like, like fucking short circuiting and shit.
yeah.
At that point, it's like, oh, well, okay, well, there's something there, right? Where, again, you can hear how passionate I am about a lot of these topics. And whoever wants to stop me from doing this kind of stuff, well, you might want to think about those people. Like, well, why are they trying to stop him from changing the culture so it's better for the fucking future? Like, why are you trying to stop that?
And that's just that people like like we preached it, talked about it all through the things. It's like people don't want change. They're afraid of the change. They're afraid
Exactly.
to make change.
Exactly.
They're afraid to get canceled. They're afraid to do this. They're afraid to get their names thrown out there in negative lights because they're afraid it's going to ruin their reputation. And
well, not only that, because like people are also very comfortable, right? So like, if you're complacent and you do the same routine every single day, you know that when you wake up in the morning, your socks are going to be in the front in the top drawer. Your suit and tie is going to be hung up in the fucking, in the left side of your freaking, your thing or whatever, right? In your closet. And, when you wake up in the morning, your coffee pot is, all that shit, right? Like you're structured in a way where, you're operating a certain way every single day. Well, say one day you have a friend sleep over. I sleep over one day, and I'm like, I'm going to now take your sock drawer and I'm going to put it in the bathroom, in your bathtub. What's that going to do? It's going to piss you off, right?
Yep.
Because I just changed your whole shit. Now you got to go to your fucking bathtub to get your socks.
Yep.
Right? Like, so my point being is like, what I'm doing is I'm stimulating change. I'm forcing people to evolve, which is a part of life. It needs to happen. You need to evolve. Humanity needs to have these conversations to stimulate evolution. And it's uncomfortable. That's why it's called the uncomfortable truth. But you'll hate me for it. But at the end of the day, it's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for humanity. And I did my job.
Exactly.
No,
I'm always learning something new. It's just like if there's a little bit of something, just an inclination that I don't understand, I'll spend days trying to figure it out.
And that's good. See, that's doing research. People don't do that anymore. That's a fucking superpower these days. Really. I'm not even like, that's not even a joke. That's so real.
Like I said, I know my gun is huge. It's in my chat right now. He's always like wanting me to do this. It's like, dude, I'm working. He goes, what are you working on? He goes, how can you be working? It's like, I'm always learning. I'm always working. I'm always finding, different things, like I said,
absolutely.
Researching guests and stuff like that. So,
dude, oh my God, that's so like, I can relate. I can relate on such a big level there. Like you have to, like, it's more than just pressing go live.
yeah.
Right? You have to go search for your guest. You have to search for the topic. You have to, be up to date on the current events. And there's so much involved here, right? It's not just pressing go live and you're done, right? Like, there's, it's a lot more to it.
Yeah, it's just like, like I said, I used to do just the creator stuff, just bring on creators that I found interesting. But I got to have some type of a connection with them. I can't just bring somebody on and talk because, the conversation usually goes stale within a few minutes if that's the case. If I don't have a connection.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no shit. Well, that's again. Then you have to be crafty and creative and like hype up the chat or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've had guests come on that were like pretty fucking like just mundane, and I would have to like crack a joke like every like 5 minutes about something, and then do all the graphics and shit that you see on my stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's all done to keep the audience number one stimulated and happy because now I'm cracking jokes and they're laughing. And number two, it also kind of like helps people just remember stuff
Oh yeah.
because and this is a something I learned when I was learning to be a professor, because I do also teach.
Oh, nice.
So the attention span, in terms of like students, right? Because students' attention spans are generally higher depending on the level of college that you teach, but they go on to be like anywhere between 15 and 17 minutes. And then after 17 minutes of like really pungent material, you lose your students. They could be the best students in the world, you lose them. So what you have to do is within 15 to 17 minutes, you have to change the topic into something that is like enjoyable, relatable, or it's stimulating a positive emotion of like happiness or laughter or something like that. And then when you do that,
That's why I was always bored at school.
yeah, because like there has to be an increment. So this way, it's like if you talk about a football game or you talk like you got to learn what your class likes. Like, hey, you guys like football? You guys like boxing? What do you like? Like relate to them, right? And then after you relate to them, every 15 to 17 minutes, you talk about like, hey, did you see Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul yesterday?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then at that point, it just like, boom, it takes them out of the classroom mode. And now people are having a discussion about whatever. And then like you do that for about like 2 to 5 minutes. And then you're like, all right, guys, let's snap back into this stuff. And then that helps them retain the information more. So that's what I've incorporated into my live streams. So like you'll see that we have like we talk about the serious topics and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually I'll hit you with like a graphic or a Yoshi coming out of nowhere or whatever, and people are like, oh, what the
teeth.
fuck am I watching? Or chattering teeth, right? And at that point in time, it's like it snaps you out of like the information aspect of it, and it puts you into entertainment mode. And then I do that for a little bit. I make some jokes or whatever. People start laughing, and then boom, we go back into the information mode.
No.
So it's there's a method to my madness. There's a reason why my show is constructed the way that it is.
No, it's very. If you guys haven't seen his show on Kick, it is very entertaining. It like I said, I have never been able to watch an entire VOD all the way through on anybody's stream. And I've watched the last two that he's done. So it's very entertaining, and I'm not gonna lie, it's very informing too. So
I appreciate that, man. And I worked really hard, really defining it to where it is today. It's been a very big journey, but I think at this point it's good, but I want to actually start upgrading it some more too. Like I was thinking of like sometime this weekend just adding more stuff.
And that's another thing I was going to talk to you too about. Is Kick just like a catalyst for you? Are you planning on like moving on up into bigger areas?
So I have a lot of things in the fire, so to speak. So I don't just do Kick. I do podcasts in the paranormal community.
Oh, wow.
I have connections there. I do. Yeah, but that's not my content. It's just they know me, who I am, and I also I've ventured into that world. I also do what's called Intellectual Soup, which is another YouTube channel that I run, which is I do a lot of random facts, just YouTube shorts.
Oh, okay.
And then I also have another YouTube channel. So I have two YouTube channels just posting shorts every single day. One being from my live streams, which is a 10,000 subscriber channel. And then I have the Intellectual Soup channel, which I started like November of last year. I only been posting for like 3 months though. And I've got like 12 or 1,300 subscribers for there. I have TikTok that I do, and then Twitter as well. So Twitter is a big like marketing kind of place. So
Yeah.
But I fired off on all burners, so to speak.
Oh, my computer's screensaver came on in the background, so you're seeing a lot of floating bubbles in the background.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, so tell me a little bit about your group that you have on your channel, Chavez and Mischief, and I can't remember the Scraplet. How did you come to meet all of them?
Oh man. So let's start with Scraplet. Scraplet, I've known him since I pretty much started Kick. And he was around during the time that I was managing and running Kick Community, which is KC. And that was when I was doing the community ran Kick Community. And he eventually showed interest in wanting to spearhead that with me. And then there was some internal struggles at Kick Community, and I had defended him. And ever since then, we've become really great friends. And he's not your average Joe. Like he's a very highly intellectual human being. The guy's not like he actually does research. He collects data. He's a business owner. Like the guy's he's good. Like he's a great friend, and definitely I would recommend anyone to talk to him because he also is a professional. Not many are like him in this space.
Yeah.
Not that I've come across. So that's Scraplet. Chavez, I was introduced to by another content creator. They said that he had like a similar vibe to me. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and see what he's about. Get on get a call with him, got on a call with him. And eventually I met him at DreamHack. And then I went to his Airbnb with him and a bunch of other creators, and him and I sat down at the table and we were having conversation and about a lot of things Kick related. And the guy, again, very bright, intelligent. I mean, just awesome human being, man. Like has a heart of gold. He's a father, husband. The guy is spot on. He's not like, again, another person that's not like the rest here. I mean, I've seen people who are very selfish.
Yeah.
They don't err on the side of righteousness. They're just for themselves. But Chavez he's for the people, man. Like he's trying to make a difference. He has seen he has seen a I guess a need to be a community leader, and he has been accepted by many. And he's a hell of a drummer, hell of a fucking drummer. And he also has Chatting with Chavez, which I was on his show.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's a fucking awesome guy, man. That's how I met him. And Mischief, also very, very compassionate, but also no fucks given kind of human being. Like she'll fucking tell you how it is. And I always I surround myself with people like that because I want to be criticized. Those are my teachers. Those are the people that are going to tell me, Joker, you're doing some stupid shit. You need to kind of adjust here. I don't like yes men at all. Like I want the people that are like, dude, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I want around me.
To keep you humble.
Oh, well, not just humble, but growing.
That too.
Because if you don't have that, you're not going to grow. You're not going to seek to evolve. Right? And if they're telling me that I'm wrong, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm probably wrong here. Right? Like I'm going to accept their opinions and I'm going to make adjustments. I'm not too proud, right? But
Yeah.
if I was like, oh, I'm going to surround myself with yes men or people that are clout chasing me, well then, like I'm not growing. I'm not gaining anything here.
Yeah.
So, Mischief has always been that kind of person who she's like, she'll tell how it is, and she'll challenge things that we tell her or we present to her, and I learned from it. How she came about, like she was in my chat a couple of times, and then eventually we just started having like conversations, and I'm like, dude, you're cool as fuck. Like, I want you part of the team,
Hell yeah.
you know? But yeah, another really great human being, like professional business owner, knows what the fuck she's talking about, does her research. I couldn't ask for a better team.
Yeah, no, like I said, I like the way you guys that's what I was wondering. It's like if you guys were like long lifetime friends, because you act like you've been together like forever, so it's the way you guys connect with each other. You guys have the connection that you don't see very many online teams have.
Well, we're birds of a feather.
Yeah.
So the team was very strategically put together. You know what I mean? And there's other people that are from my past, that, I was friends with back then, because I've been doing this for 10 years in content
wow.
creation. Yeah. So, that if they were to come back, I would involve them in the same team. Because life happens, people separate.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? But it doesn't mean they're less people. I mean, it's just life happened, right? Just recently, a buddy of mine who I've known since 2013, he goes by the alias Watson. He was a partner of mine, and we went back and forth on a lot of issues. And really, really intelligent person, man, entrepreneur. If you were to ever come back into the space where I'm at, even if we haven't talked for 10 years, I'd welcome him back, because people are who they are. Like, I know who the good ones are, and there's very few in this world that you can call a good one.
Yep.
There's the sheep, and then there's the shepherd, and then there's the wolf, right?
Yep.
So I like to have a lot of shepherds around.
No, definitely. No, like I said, it was, watching you, being able to watch the last two videos, all the way through, just seeing how you guys interacted and everything else. That it was really nice to see, because like I said, you see so many people that bring, especially in the podcast scene, that have these teams together, or these people that you can tell they just don't vibe together. So
yeah, man. Look, I mean, like I said, we there's reasons for everything, man. Like, we found each other and we clicked because we're birds of a feather. And there was some luck involved to find them. I mean, they came around the live stream space, and Kick. If it wasn't for Kick, I wouldn't have known any of them.
yeah,
So I have Kick to thank for that.
that's one thing I definitely can say is I've met more people on Kick, because I've been on Twitch I was on Twitch for what, 4.5 or 5.5 years, Mixer for 1.5 years. So I've been on and off Kick, ever since it came about. But no, it's I've met a lot more people and made more connections off of Kick than I have probably anywhere.
Yep.
Personal connections. So, but, well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I know I told you 90 minutes and stuff like that, but there was a lot of information on. I loved the fact that to be able to get that out, that you are a normal person, you have your beliefs and you want to do what's right for the kid community, and as well for all social media, because we're stuck with social media. It's just plain and simple. This is our life now. So it's got to be a safe space, especially for, kids coming up into the new generation that's coming up. We've already seen what kind of happened with social media and everything else in the generation we're with right now. And if it's not taking control, it's only going to get worse.
Exactly, bro. But that's why we're doing this. We got to make sure we hold the accountability, and we challenge the powers that be, right?
Definitely.
And whenever people are saying, "Oh, well, he's the Joker," oh my God, like, you're fucking right. I'm the Joker. I'm the one that's going to challenge those that are in power, that are doing wicked shit that's going to fuck you over. So either you get on board or you get out of my way.
Yep. No, I'm like I said, I'm glad we had this conversation, but like I said, I already knew just by watching the things you did, and kind of, because like I said, I always believe I have a good judge of character. It's never, I've never been steered wrong yet. So it's either, yeah, I can see this guy's full of shit, or no, this guy's actually true in his convictions of what he wants done. So, and I totally see that you are wanting the right path for the future. So
It's the best that I can do, man. And I'm not perfect. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm like, as a human, we're all imperfect. So I have flaws, but my intentions are pure.
And like you said, you're always learning.
Oh, absolutely. And I will
That's the
tell you
key.
when I fuck up. If I did something stupid, I'll be like, yeah, I kind of fucked that up.
Yeah, I do the
You know what I
same.
mean? Like I'm not I'm not God, bro. Like I make mistakes too, you know.
So, but that's the key. Always grow. Quit. Never stop learning. Never stop educating yourself. That was taught to me years and years ago, and it just stuck with me ever since.
So I'm gonna quote. So as like an ending remark, I'm gonna quote Dr. Disrespect.
Okay.
I'm at the top of my mountain, but I'm only halfway up.
Yep. Very
So
true.
there's a lot more growth. Even though that I feel good, that I know I'm doing good, I'm not anywhere near done, and I have a lot more learning to do.
And I think it's what a lot of people. I think it's what a lot of people's problems is that we see is they hit that they hit that ultimate goal that they had from themselves, and they just stop. They don't want to go any further.
You have to grow,
Yeah.
and growing and learning comes with growing pains.
Oh, definitely.
You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna get fucked up. You're gonna get beat up. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna lose things. You're gonna gain things. If anybody thinks it's fucking easy, it's not. It's just not.
No, definitely. Well, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, because I know, like I said, I didn't realize that it was that busy today, but I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Every day is a challenge, my friend. But I had to make sure I took time, away to do this, because to me this is important to my mission. To number one, help people understand why I do the things that I do, whether it be you, your audience, or your peers. And this way I can help get you on board and other people on board to also be truth seekers, to be people to do research, and to hold people accountable themselves, hold me accountable, hold you accountable, hold the people that are in the phase partners accountable for the things that they're doing, and highlight the importance of making sure that they're held accountable. Because if there is none, then again, it's going to hurt the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And this is a very critical moment for Kick, because if we don't establish this culture, and Kick and Kick actually succeeds and it overtakes Twitch, well, now we're not the ones that built the culture. People that had a wicked intention, or people who went unchecked, are the ones that built the culture, and that's dangerous.
Yes. No, it's like I said, because Kick is in its infancy. This is where you need to start. And like I said, I think this is I think we learned our lesson from all the other platforms that we were a part of and everything else. So people need to listen. People need to step up. They need to do their research. They need to listen.
Absolutely. Yep.
Take the blinders off, people. Plain and simple.
But I'm the bad guy.
You're the Joker.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Hey, like I said earlier, if people hate, that just means we're in their headspace.
And that's what I want.
So
that's all that I want.
And so that's what I always said. I mean, it's just like, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Well, right. But like, if you're in their headspace, that just means that they're thinking about the things that you're saying. And I don't care about them thinking about me. I care about them thinking about the things that were said.
Yeah.
So if they hear me say, hey, scamming people's bad, and there's this scamming ring that's happening on fucking Kick, and then they're like, oh, let me see what the fuck he was talking about, I won. Right there, I just won.
Yeah.
Because now you're combating the scams, right?
Like I said, between two different conversations, that's what got me to do the research. So listening to one of those artists that were involved with that, and then listening to your show the other night, it's like, okay, I'm going to do some more deep diving. So,
and that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Because now, again, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to tell your audience, and your audience is now going to look out for future scams.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully that helps them in their lives, and they don't get, you know, food taken off of their table where it could have been feeding their kids.
Exactly. Yeah, because there was listen to some of the conversations and some of the stories here just in the last from, you know, a few different artists that were a part of that. That was horrible.
Oh yeah, $50,000, bro. Maybe it's more now.
I mean, I trust me, I've been scammed out. You know, we went to a convention here, Loot Fest, down in Dallas over the week or a couple weekends ago, and I had rented an Airbnb type apartment. Well, it was like 3 weeks before, or about a month before we were supposed to go. Not even that, I think like 3 weeks. All of a sudden, I get this email sitting there saying, "Oh, we're bankrupt. You don't have your place. You can't get your money." So now I got to go through an attorney and along with a class action suit to get my money back. So it might be years before I get it back. But
that sucks.
But
Saw that happen to you, bro.
You know, it was just like not even 90 days after I rented the apartment, you know, online, you know, they went bankrupt. I'm like, really? You knew you were going bankrupt.
That sucks, bro.
But
fuck.
One of those
that's the stuff you gotta tell
learned.
people, right? Like, because other people could, you know, go to Loot Fest and that could potentially happen, right? So
Yeah.
that's an area of, you know, content creating that could essentially, you know, your influencers could get discouraged to go to functions like that because
Yeah.
of scams. So
Yeah. But all right, I'm gonna let you get back to your daily routine. And I know you got a lot of things doing. I seen you had an announcement to come up tomorrow, so make sure you guys stay tuned to his Twitter. It's see what that announcement is. I think I kind of have an idea because I kind of recognize the graphic a little bit. But
the announcement, yes, it will happen tomorrow. It's actually going to be a very good one.
So stay tuned for that, and make sure you guys go give him a chance. That's all I say. Give people a chance before you start passing judgment. Period. Plain and simple.
Agreed.
Because like I said, yeah, his Twitter feed's great. You know, it's like I said, I never really paid much attention to it. You know, the name just came like in passing until here recently. It's just like, okay, I gotta figure out what this guy is.
Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you having me on your show here, Rebel. Thank you to you know, to your audience for hanging out with us and learning. I you know, give it a chance. You might get addicted to truth telling. You know, truth telling is everything because you feel good afterwards because you know you did the right thing.
Exactly. All right, my dude. I'll get with you on Twitter and stuff like that, and I'll get your links from you, and that way I can put them all in the
just
the description and stuff.
the Joker on Kick, and then the Kick Joker on Twitter. That's it.
Okay.
Those are the only two I really care to share.
Okay. I can do that. Like I said, thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. It was really nice meeting you and get to be able to talk to you. And I hope everybody does the same when they go through and read the VOD or watch the VOD, that they understand that what you hear is not always what is.
That's a fact. Exactly. All right, brother.
All right.
Take it easy.
You have a good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching. And if you guys want to catch a live show, you can catch us over on kick.com/They Hang Out Live. Also, all the videos will be up on our YouTube channels. All the links and stuff will be in the descriptions. Make sure you guys check out everybody we talk to. Like I said, we're all over the place. So until next time, have a good one.
Exploring perspectives, time to take off.